Alright guys, welcome back. We have another ban list today for Master Duel. I love that Master Duel does these so often. We know every month we're going to get at least one ban list. One to bring things back and usually one to take things off. And I like that. I like the consistency. We get like 2 ban lists a month. It's phenomenal. I got to commend them for that. Outside of the ban list thing, I guess I'm adding this little segment to the beginning of these videos. We're going to talk about which decks are the best before we even get to the ban list. The best decks right now are basically Yubel. Snake Eye is the best deck in the game. It's Snake Eye, Fire King, Yubel. You could throw Branded in there. It's made a real resurgence with tournaments lately. And then, of course, you've got Tenpai, but Tenpai is probably the lowest out of all of those decks. So hopefully they address Snake Eye in this deck. I mean, in this ban list, because it is pretty much once again the best. Once they hit Tenpai significantly, and now I would say Tenpai. Now that it's been hit, Snake Eye is pretty much the best deck again. And then, of course, I'm already seeing 2 floodgates getting hit, which is just generally good for the game. So, first up, we've got 2 forbidden cards. Neither of these are super meta relevant, but I guess nice to see go. We've got Secret Village of the Spellcasters. This card is good in any deck that ends on a spellcaster, so you can use it in White Forest, and it can be annoying. So that's probably why they ban it, because White Forest is the most recent spellcaster deck. Although this card is also usable in any deck that uses spellcaster. So Dark Magician, this is usable, although Dark Magician did not get this banned. Also Pendulums. Pendulums are already kind of annoying to go second against, and then when they set up Secret Village, it's even more annoying because you can't activate spell cards as long as they control a spellcaster. So this card is more so annoying than it is good, and because Master Duel doesn't really give you an opportunity to side deck or prepare for your opponent in any way significantly, cards like this are just very toxic. If your opponent wins a coin flip and they activate Secret Village, it's basically curtains. Yeah, and it needed to be banned rather than like go to 1, because a lot of the decks that use it can actually search it. So like Valiance for example, or Magispecters, they can both search it. So this card kind of needed it wasn't like it needed to go, but it's nice to see it leave. Summon Limit's another card that's just it's just the floodgates in Master Duel are very toxic, and nobody really likes to play around against them. Nobody likes to play against these floodgates. It's a best of 1 format. A lot of people do not play the main deck outs to a lot of this stuff, so a card like Summon Limit really prevents you from playing, and I can understand why they banned it. Again, it wasn't like a card that needed to get hit. Who's playing this right now? I mean, True Dracos, Eldritch, 2 decks that aren't meta relevant at all, but at the same time it's just very frustrating to play against generally. Cards that are now being limited, Anti-Spell Fragrance. Again, this is like kind of a weird choice. I didn't even realize this was at 2. I thought this was already at 1. I guess it's at 1 in the TCG and the OCG. But this is more of like a side deck card than it is a main deck card. So it's a little weird that it's getting hit. But it's another card, kind of like Secret Village. When your opponent flips this and they went first, it's such a difficult card to play through. It doesn't matter what deck you're playing through. It's very difficult to play through. It's extra good against quick play spells. It's just a very annoying card to play against when you're forced to go second. It's already so difficult to go second in Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, at this point, they might as well just ban it. I mean, it's an unsearchable one of now. And again, it's only good going first. So this card is this card is definitely less good than these 2 because it's only good going first. As a matter of fact, all 3 of these cards are very like going first floodgates. But this is the most going first, because if you go second with this card, you try to activate this card, and they've already used all their spell cards and set up a board. It's kind of pointless. I can understand why they hit this though. Cards to be semi-limited. We've got Maxx C. Is this a cash grab? I think it's a cash grab. I think we all know it's a cash grab. So they released the new versions of Maxx C, which would be the I forget their names. The Pirelli or whatever. It's the one that when you special summon from the extra deck or from the deck, you get to draw a card, and then basically they're like slightly worse Maxx Cs. They released 2 slightly worse Maxx Cs into the game, and now Maxx C goes to 2. I'm not shocked. The only reason they're doing this is because of that. They're not addressing Maxx C. They're hitting it just to force you to get the other URs. Pretty much. Next is Sangan Kaiman, which is the quick play spell for Tenpai. Tenpai is arguably right now the 4th best deck in the game. So I can understand again why they hit it, because a lot of people don't like playing against Tenpai. It's it is honestly a very frustrating deck to play against. If your opponent just has like Lightning Storm, they have Lightning Storm into the Tenpai, and then it's over. As long as they can get to one copy of Pydra, it's basically a guaranteed OTK. I can understand why people don't like to play against this deck, and it's more so that people don't like to play it, and that's why they're hitting it, rather than how good it is, because it is at this point like the 4th best deck. Nightmare Throne from 3 to 2. I mean, again, you're reducing the consistency of this deck by a small fraction. Like, this is such a small hit. A card going from 3 to 2, like, you maybe reduce the consistency of this deck by what, 1%, 2%? Like, it's almost negligible. This hit is such a random hit. If you're gonna hit anything, you gotta ban something. It's such a negligible hit. If you really want to hit this deck, you gotta ban something. And then we've got cards going to 3. Wow, they did not hit Snake Eye Fire King. Wow. Okay. No, that's insane, because that's the best deck in the game. And they hit these two, which is like, they hit the 4th place deck, and they hit the 2nd place deck, but they did not hit the best deck in the game. And they hit a couple of Floodgates, which is good. They hit Floodgates, but that's actually kind of shocking. And these are the cards going to 3, and we will go through them. Morphing Jar. Mad random. So random. This card's been limited to 1 since like 2006. Actually, longer than that. I don't know why I said 2006. This card's been limited to 1 since, I want to say, 2003. I remember this card came out, and like instantly it was like, okay, we got to put it to 1. It's too crazy. So it's been like, what, 22 years since this card has been at 3. It's kind of insane just to think about. It's not that it's like outrageously good. You also have Cyberjar going from banned to 3. Both these cards are a part of a deck called Empty Jar, where you essentially just set them to your field and then flip them, make your opponent draw, flip them face down with Book of Taiyu and a variety of new cards that have come out. Cards like Sol and Luna, which is a new card, and then you flip them face down, flip them face up, and you essentially mill your opponent's deck. You essentially mill your opponent's deck. There's not a lot of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh's history that mill your opponent's deck. The most recent one has been like Runic, which was actually good, but outside of that, the only other good deck that has ever milled your opponent's deck was a deck called Empty Jar, and now it's pretty much at full power, right? It's because you have 3 of this, it's at full power for the first time in, like I said, 22, 23 years. Bananas. And then we've got a lot for Branded, which, again, like I said, Branded is arguably the 3rd best deck in the game. For all of this stuff to peel off the ban list for Branded is a little outrageous. So we've got Aluber going to 3. Kind of sucks for me because I have 2 Royal Rare Alubers. Now I got to go get that 3rd one. So we've got the Aluber coming back. I mean, that is outrageous consistency for the deck. It's the deck's best normal summon, best special summon, best thing to summon off of the Branded opening, which is also going to 3. So we've got this going to 3, this going to 3, Saronir going to 3. Saronir was always the Bestial that was pretty much exclusive to Despia's. I mean, it was pretty much exclusive to the Branded archetype, because this has a very in-branded effect where you can send a Bestial monster or a Branded spell trap card. So the other ones are very generic. So Druisworm, for example, and Bestial Magnum, but they're generic. One searches a dragon and one sends a monster to the graveyard. This is specifically for Branded. So to see this card get back off the ban list is quite something. I mean, at 3 now. So yeah, 3 cards coming back. And then we've got the Celestial going from ban to 3. Wow, okay. So that makes Phoenix Enforcer a lot better. That's again, one of those things, nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for Celestial to come back, but now it's back. I think that entire engine's unhit now. Okay, I had to double check. Yeah, the Destiny Fusion is not limited in any way. So Destiny Fusion's at 3, Celestial's at 3, Phoenix Enforcer's at 3. Every part of this combo, the other guy, the one that if you draw you get to special summon. Wow, they just brought this entire package back to full power. You get the draw, you get everything. Wow, that's unbelievable. That's actually kind of crazy. Yeah, weird. This is one of those things nobody asked for. Nobody wanted. I don't think anybody was like, got up in the morning, was like, yeah, you know what we want? We want the Destiny Phoenix Enforcer package at full power. I don't think anyone like, well, yeah, this one is basically the one that lets you draw 2 cards. It's like a +2 after you Phoenix Enforcer, which is already an unbelievably good card. But yeah, this has been a very odd ban list. Like Arguably the third best deck in the game, getting 3 cards off the ban list. You have no hits to the best deck in the game. You have another hit for the 4th best deck in the game, and then they hit a bunch of floodgates, which is good. So this is like all over the place. I don't even know what to say about this ban. It's one of the most goofy ban lists I've ever seen. It arguably made some of the best decks stronger, if anything.